All right, it's time. Let's go get Joe, Jen, and the boys and turn this brand new pond on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Oh my.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
No way.
Oh, the sound is perfect.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Guys, this is gonna be awesome.
We're starting out day 5 here today, and I want to touch on something that I always have a discussion with the customer with before we begin the project, and that's what is your yard going to look like when we come in here and build one of these, especially these larger ponds. Now, I let them know a lot of the grass is going to get torn out. If there's irrigation in the way, that's getting torn out. Anything that's in the way of where the pond's going is going to be torn out, and it's going to need to be fixed later by somebody else. We don't fix lawns. We don't fix irrigation, but we try and line all that stuff up before we begin a project. And one of the caveats that I always give them is if it rains, all bets are off. I mean, it can really become a mess, which is what we've got this morning. This place is like a bomb went off. Once rain comes into the equation, it just turns everything right to muck. I mean, it is so muddy around here. We're looking at hopefully a nice day today, and that should dry this place out where we can get some rough grading done, but just look at all the mud everywhere, on the machines, on the rocks, in the water, on our cameras, our tools, everything. But I find that if we talk about this stuff before we ever put a shovel in the ground, when it does actually happen, it's not that big a deal and it's kind of expected. Now, of course, when we're done, we'll clean everything up. They'll have to reseed their lawn and get the landscape back in shape, but at least we're not surprising them with just a complete disaster. So if you're thinking about doing a project, especially something of this size, take into account the repair work that's going to have to be done afterwards. Because when you're bringing in heavy equipment, tons and tons and tons of boulders, dirt, and other material, it's going to do some ancillary damage. And that's this morning's talk. Let's get this pond finished. Last night before we headed out, the wetland filter was dug, shaped up, and we got our liner and underlayment in. This is what our excavation looks like when it's lined. That trough down the center is for our centipede modules, which are right here. At the end, we're going to be putting our snorkel, which is basically our clean out port. So at the top there's a cap. During periodic maintenance, you can take the cap off, drop a pump down in there, which goes all the way to the bottom of the wetland, wash everything down, and then suck it out, get rid of that dirty water. Now those flat spots on either side, that's where we put our layer of aqua blocks. The water's going to flow up through these aqua blocks, which create a structural void. All those little crisscrosses in there are all great spaces for beneficial bacteria to colonize. And then on top of that, we're going to do our rock and gravel mixture coming up and then flowing out the top of the wetland into the waterfall. Drew just pulled up with a cobble. We're ready to get this thing rocking, get this wetland finished, and tighten this place up. Fire it up.
This is our constructed wetland filter up here. This has got 23 aqua blocks. We got our centipede and vault over here. We've got 3 different layers of gravel in here, from a 5 to 8 inch cobble all the way at the bottom, then to a 1 to 3 inch, and then topping off here with our 3/4 inch. What that allows is the most surface area possible for the bacteria to colonize as that water is rising up and percolating through, coming in contact with all the bacteria, and then flowing up, pooling in this area before heading out 2 separate spillways to start the waterfall on the far side here. All of our edges are finished along the back side. Found a nice, cool piece of wood in the customer's property. Our plumbing, totally disguised. You don't even see where it comes into the wetland here. We've already got some plants that the customer had picked up and had delivered for us. A couple of nice birch trees. And then you can see in the distance there, we've got our plumbing. So we're gonna trench that in tomorrow, connect into the vault in our intake, and then this baby, once it's filled, it's gonna be ready to go. Good morning, day 6 on the project here. We left last night about 8 o'clock. We're back here first thing in the morning. Hoses were running all night and the pond is just about full. A couple more inches to fill it up, and then we're gonna be filling up the wetland at the top, connecting in our plumbing, hooking up the lights, dressing up all the edges, and cleaning up our mess, and backing our way out of here, and finally getting ready to turn this pond on for the first time and reveal it to the customers. Guys, this is gonna be awesome.
All right, it's time. Let's go get Joe, Jen, and the boys and turn this brand new pond on.
You're each gonna press that power button, and then depending on what speed it is, you may have to click the plus all the way up until it hits 10.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Oh
Both
my
sides.
god. Oh my.
That's incredible.
That's so cool.
No way.
Oh, the sound is perfect.
That's amazing.
I've always loved fish, and when I was a kid, loved streams and ponds and stuff. So, when we moved in here, we had a great yard for it. And, after we talked about it a lot and looked over what the budget would be and talked to Jack, it was something we figured, it had value to the house and was worth pursuing. We knew the boys would love it.
And we did. Yep, it was our little COVID project. We just kind of watched every video out there from everything that you guys did, everything.
I remember my mom and dad seeing it when you guys were building it. They couldn't get over the size of the hole and then the rocks and the whole process. And then afterwards, once it's all landscaped, they love it. They'll come back here and just hang out. The sound of the waterfalls. It's just super relaxing, and then it covers up all the other sounds of cars and stuff in the neighborhood. So everybody just loves hanging out here, and it's definitely the focal point of the backyard.
The waterfall is definitely nice and warm.
Yeah, you can see it from the house. We enjoyed it all winter, seeing it freeze over. The lights at night are awesome. It's just really the centerpiece of the backyard, and just the landscaping, I'd say as well. We've had fun doing that.
Everything. There's just
Everything
beautiful.
about it.
It's wonderful, and it's been amazing to honestly watch it through all the seasons. The change, there's never a dull point. Like I said, the winter was really cool when it would freeze over a bit, but the water was still running under the falls. And it looks so cool in the snow.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous in the fall. The spring's wonderful to see everything kind of coming back to life. And then obviously the summers when it's, you know, everything's in its glory. It's great.
Yeah, that was probably some of the most fun we've had in the last several years, having you guys here for that week and seeing it all come together and be a part of the process and actually see it go from, you know, painting it out and laying it out to all of a sudden seeing it all come together, the boulders get set. That was really cool.
Yeah.